Welcome back everyone, it's Charlie. This is going to be my new Batman video. I've gotten so many requests from a lot of you messaging me asking about new Batman rumors, so I'll try to explain what's going on because there's a bunch of stuff flying around the past couple of days. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. There's a bunch of big stuff happening now because they're filming the Batman movie and they're obviously getting ready to film the Justice League Snyder Cut reshoots with Ben Affleck coming back to film new Batman scenes. But just starting with the big stuff first, number 5, if you didn't see the news, a couple of blogs were reporting rumors about Ben Affleck's new contract with DC and Warner Brothers for Batman. What the rumors are claiming are that Ben Affleck will do the Snyder Cut reshoots, then do the Flash movie, like we all heard. Now a couple bloggers are also reporting rumors that he's supposedly going to do a Batman HBO project and more movie cameos beyond the Flash movie. So understandably, there have been a lot of changes with DC's plans for Batman in the movies and the TV shows recently. So I'll try to explain what I think is true, what is not true, what has actually been confirmed, and what has not been confirmed. No joke though, there's actually going to be 4 different versions of live-action Batman next year. The Robert Pattinson Batman in the Batman movie, Ben Affleck's Batman in the Justice League Snyder Cut in the Flash movie, Michael Keaton's Batman in the Flash movie, and then number 4 is actually Ian Glenn's Batman on Titan Season 3, which is also coming to HBO. Jorah Mormont from Game of Thrones also plays a version of Batman in the DC Multiverse. So number 4, right now, the only thing that has been confirmed for Ben Affleck's Batman is that in the next week or two, he starts filming the new scenes with Zack Snyder for the Justice League Snyder Cut. They haven't fully revealed what all of his new scenes are going to be. He looks way different now than he did when they were filming the movie originally back in 2017. He's still jacked, it's just that he's way more cut and leaner now. His Batman was always swole the way that Christian Bale bulked up big time for Batman Begins. There's a whole funny story that Christian Bale told about how Christopher Nolan got mad at him for doing that. Like, whoa, take it down a notch. I don't want the bodybuilder version of Batman. You don't really realize how big Ben Affleck was until he starts standing next to some of the actors though. He is freaking huge as his Batman. These new Justice League Snyder Cut reshoots and scenes will only last for like 10 to 14 days tops, probably a little bit less. They're supposedly spending $70 to $80 million, maybe even a little bit more on the Snyder Cut, but that's the total budget for everything, not just the budget for the reshoots. As part of these reshoots, they're bringing back more than half of the Justice League actors like Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman, Cyborg. They even just announced that Jared Leto was filming new scenes as his version of the Joker. I did a video about that last night too, so I'll link that in the description. Whatever you thought it was going to be, the Snyder Cut is going to be way bigger. It is morphed from a large movie into more of a giant mini-series. It's going to be over 4 hours long. They'll be releasing it in 4 separate episodes next year on HBO Max, so of course I'll do videos for all the episodes. And since they're not doing Zack Snyder's version of Justice League 2, presumably the ending of the Snyder Cut, whatever the new ending winds up being, will leave Batman ready to pick up at the beginning of the Flash movie as if not a whole lot of time has gone by, even though chronologically, in real life, several years will have gone by the time we see the Flash movie, just because it's been delayed so many times.
It's getting really good. It's getting really good now. You know, anyone who knows anything about Barry Allen knows that he's always late, but then when he arrives, he gets stuff done.
Number 3 though, the reason for that is because they revealed that Ben Affleck's Batman is going to be building the Flash, his new costume in the movie, the new multiverse time travel suit. Really, it's just meant to be a shiny new redesign of the character. They have a new creative team coming in, new director, new writers, so they want to do their take on the Flash character and evolve him in a new direction, just based on what Zack Snyder set up. This is what it's going to look like though. Notice how it's designed to look much more organic and highlight all the Speed Force energy as it arcs around his body when he's running. Hopefully they'll also fix the way that he runs, but he's just going to pop a lot more on screen this way. So at the beginning of that movie, he'll still have the old Justice League suit and he'll have some scenes with Ben Affleck's Batman where he gets the new suit. Also, because we know it's a Flashpoint movie and everybody has seen or read the Flashpoint story and Batman is such a big part of that, people are wondering if Ben Affleck is going to have a similar type of moment even though they're changing a lot of the Flashpoint story from the comics. The way they explained it is that he will be going back in time to try and change events to save his mother's life and mess with the timeline in the process, and traveling the multiverse, which is where you get to Michael Keaton's Batman from the Tim Burton movies. But the whole reason for them doing Flashpoint and all this multiverse stuff, as the directors and the producers said, is so that they can bring all the DC movies and TV shows from history in real life into the same continuity through the shared DC multiverse, as they're calling it. When they were talking about it at the DC Fandom panel, they played a big montage with clips from all the old DC movies. Val Kilmer Batman, Clooney Batman, Christopher Reeves Superman, everything. It's all canon now, just happening on different Earths. So that's how they're going to explain Michael Keaton's Batman coexisting with Ben Affleck's Batman, because Ben Affleck is the Batman of the main Earth of the DCEU, and that isn't going to change even if Ben Affleck never does another DC movie after the Flash movie. So this is really key to understanding the future of Ben Affleck's Batman. Number 2, the rumor, though, that people have been asking me about him doing a Batman HBO series is actually coming from an older rumor that happened before Matt Reeves announced that he was doing a Batman HBO spin-off series from his Batman movie with Robert Pattinson. So right now, the only Batman-related HBO series that they're making is the Matt Reeves one. It doesn't mean that they'll never do another Batman HBO series, it just means that right now, that is it. It's mostly intended to be a gritty crime drama series, prequel to the Batman movie, just following the characters from the Gotham City Police Department during the events of Batman Year 1. So when I say it's a prequel to the Batman movie takes place during Batman Year 2, the series takes place during Batman Year 1.
The idea is that we're in year 2, it's the Gotham experiment, it's a criminological experiment. He's trying to figure out sort of what he can do that can finally change this place. And in our story, as he's in that mode, that's where you meet him and you see that he is charting what he's doing, and he's seeing that he's not having any of the effect that he wants to have yet. And that is when the murders start to happen, and then the murders begin to describe sort of the history of Gotham in a way that only reinforces what he knows about Gotham, but it opens up a whole new world of corruption that went much farther. But as that story starts to come out, without being an origin tale for him, it ends up being something that touches on his origins. So you start to see that as it starts to describe this epic history of corruption in Gotham, that you start to understand, well, where did my family sit in that? And in that sense, I think all of that is a way to take a story that is a detective story, a very point of view story, a mystery. It's got, of course, action, all that kind of stuff. But at the end of it, it also is incredibly personal for him, even though it is the story in which he's trying to understand and unravel this mystery.
They're filming the movie right now, but they're filming the TV series for HBO sometime early next year, so I think they're going to try and release it by 2022. It also recently spotted on the set of the movie, big Easter egg, a dated custom taxicab sticker saying that it's 2019, meaning that the Batman movie takes place in present day, just further confirming that it's set on a different Earth in the multiverse than the Justice League Earth. But never say never, there's always the chance that they could choose to cross over Robert Pattinson's Batman with other Justice League characters, like we saw the Superman and Wonder Woman costumes on the set of the movie recently, so there are versions of them that have existed on that Earth. But this is Christopher Reeves' Superman costume, so post all your theories about which Earth you think this is taking place on. So even though it sounds confusing, there is a Batman HBO show of sorts. They haven't revealed what the title of it's going to be. Robert Pattinson himself probably won't be featured in it a lot, but it will involve the Batman characters that we'll also be seeing during the Batman movie. Number 1, though, bringing it back around to Crisis on Infinite Earths, how will the new HBO series that they've announced so far handle crossover with the DC movies and potential crossover with the Arrowverse shows, stuff like Titans, the Green Lantern HBO series, which is more space-based. We haven't really done a lot of space-based DC movies. The way they explain things through that Crisis on Infinite Earths ending scene with the montage of all the different Earths sort of gives you a highlight reel explaining how they're all treating it now. It's all canon, it's all multiverse, they're all on different Earths. But behind the scenes, the way that the producers and the directors talk about all this, the writers, people like Matt Reeves, for instance, his Batman HBO series won't start referencing the Arrowverse shows anytime soon. They just let the directors and the producers each do their own thing. So if they want to reference other shows and movies, they can totally do that, but they're not required to. So for instance, they do this new Green Lantern HBO series, clearly meant to cross over with the new Green Lantern Corps series. We have Diggle Green Lantern from the Arrowverse. The Green Lantern series doesn't necessarily have to include Diggle, but I think they're leaving room in case they decide to do something like that. And just because the Flash movie might be Ben Affleck's last big DC movie as Batman, that doesn't mean that he'll never, ever come back to appear as Batman. We never thought that Michael Keaton would come back as Batman, but you cut to 2020 and boom, he's back. So hopefully that clears everything up. Right now, there is no Ben Affleck Batman HBO series that's going to happen. The last movie that is on his contract right now is the Flash movie. So if that changes in the next couple of months, of course I'll do a new video, but until they make an official announcement, I would just treat a lot of those rumors with grains of salt. Many, many grains of salt. The next big thing that's happening though is the Mandalorian Season 2 episodes are starting next week. I'll be doing videos for all of the episodes, so make sure you've enabled alerts for my channel so you don't miss anything, but leave all your video requests in the comments below for any kind of video. While you wait for everything, click here to rewatch all the Easter eggs and footage from the Batman movie set clips this past week, and click here to rewatch the Batman trailer a billion more times. Thank you so much for watching, everyone stay safe, I'll see you guys tonight.